Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk about taking responsibility for where you are in your life right now. One of the things that I have found is that one of the hardest things to do is to acknowledge that where you are in your life right now is the result of everything that you have done up until this previous point in time, up until this point in time. So one of the things that goes into this is this whole notion of fault and responsibility. Now there are two different things. I remember several years ago, I think it was around 2012, when I was in college, I did this video in which I expressed that I take fault for everything that has happened in my life, no matter what someone else has done. You know, if they did something that trickled down in my life, if I failed an exam, I wouldn't be going to blame my teachers for not being able to teach something well enough, or I wasn't going to blame the person I was with if I was in a horrible relationship, even if it was something that they did. I took fault for everything that happened. And, some people may look at this and say, no, you shouldn't do that. No, I wanted to have full fault in it. I wanted to be able to reflect on the things that happened to me. And I wanted to be able to acknowledge what I did that was a part of that. But as I've grown older, it's sort of the same concept, but I like to treat it as a responsibility. And when you treat it as a responsibility, sometimes it gives it less of a chance of weighing down on you. It gives it less of a chance of you pointing the finger or getting down at something that you did. But you more so acknowledge that you played a role in everything that's happened. If I am in an accident, perhaps it is I had responsibility in that for being in that position in that point in time. Maybe I didn't see this person, driving crazy, and I didn't move out of the way. If I'm standing at a stoplight and the crosswalk sign comes on and I start walking across the street and someone comes and hit me, part of my responsibility in that is because, well, even though that crosswalk sign came on, I'm the one who chose to walk across. Even though it indicated that I should walk, I chose to walk. So, that those may be two extreme examples, but this is usually how I like to go about everything that's happening in my life. And it's scary when it comes to those decisions or those things that you did that have a very negative impact on your life. This is when you're usually thinking about it when you're in an undesirable circumstance. You're not thinking about this when you found success in something. Sure, you stick your chest out and say, oh yeah, I did that. But when it comes to something that is negative in your life or a bad position that you're in right now, it's easy to look to point the finger. It's easy to look to choose that this person did this or they did that, that had a role. But it's hard to really accept that you played a factor in this. Something that you did has led you to this position. So your either your action, your inaction, your avoidance or inavoidance of something, you had some bit of responsibility in being where you are. Now, the reason why I like to go about life treating things this way is because, as I may have said before, when you take responsibility for things, when you look to take responsibility for things, you're not looking to point the finger. And pointing the finger is only going to waste time. There's really absolutely no benefit to pointing the finger, especially when it comes to other people. All of the things that you're going to create is conflict, and you're just going to create argument. These things that probably are not going to benefit anyone in this situation. And so that's the reason why I try to avoid finding the excuses in anything. I try to avoid pointing the finger, even if someone else played a huge impact in what happened. When I choose to take responsibility in this, it makes me avoid wasting time finding excuses or pointing the finger. And instead, when I take responsibility that when I take responsibility of my actions in this and me placing myself in this situation, it more so sets me up in a position where I can start saying, hey, sure, I did this and it led me here. So what can I do to correct this? What have I learned from this? And, what sort of positive can I find from this situation? I talk about this a lot with being able to find the positive and the negatives. And this is one of those situations where you can do that with, looking and seeing, no matter how crappy the circumstances you may be in, whatever it is that happened, how can I improve the future going forward? Because again, dwelling on something that has just happened in the past, no matter how, soon it was or how, recent it was, is not going to benefit you in any way. So this is the reason why I think it is quite important to look to accept the responsibility in everything that's happened. And now, of course, some people may find it harder to do this than others, but I think that it's very important to make that effort to find responsibility, to find what role you played in putting yourself in the situation, reflecting on that, mining it for the positive. What have you learned from it? How can you avoid doing this in the future? What from this have you gained that you can share with someone else to, help prevent them from falling in that same, predicament in a point in time in their life. So that's the thing, that's the thing with a lot of things in life. There are many negatives that we can oftentimes dwell on, but dwelling on those negatives serves no purpose. It's just going to drain our energy, throw us in an emotional loop in which we're continue to think on something negative. It's going to make us feel negative. It's going to make us feel negative, and then we're going to start thinking on it again, and we're just in this vicious cycle, and time is just going on and on and on, versus accepting responsibility, spending a little bit of time reflecting on it, and then saying, how can I correct the future? How can I make things better going forward? And that is the important thing with accepting responsibility. So that's mainly what I want to talk about, guys. Again, when it comes to whatever situation you're in life, whatever circumstances, no matter how horrible they are, no matter how much someone else may have caused a trickling effect no matter how much they tick that first domino block off and it just caused a cascading effect in your life, really take a moment, reflect, look at it, and acknowledge what role you played in it, and look forward to how you can make the future positive. So again, that's all I want to talk about. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope this has been beneficial to you. I'm having a hard time talking with these braces in my mouth sometimes. I don't know if you've noticed them. I'm wearing Invisalign. I've been wearing them for the past several months as kind of a side note, but it kind of makes me get all stuck over words sometimes. But anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed. Until next time, I'll catch you later.